A moment and in order to discuss the situation at the Indo-China border areas, Prime Minister Modi has called for an all-party meeting at 5 in the evening on the 19th, and the presidents of the various political parties would be taking part in that virtual meeting. So important news coming in as far as that all-party meeting is concerned on the situation emerging between India and China. Clearly we saw in fact a statement coming in from the government sources a short while back, also a tweet that was put out by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Raksha Mantri had tweeted that the entire nation stands firmly with the soldiers there and saluted their bravery and valor for sacrificing their lives in the line of duty there. Remember, of course, the demise of the Jawans that had taken place there at the LAC. Let's go across now to our correspondent Sudhakar, who is joining us with more inputs on that. Sudhakar, critical situation then emerging at the LAC between India and China, and now that important meeting scheduled for the 19th.
पूरे मसले को लेकर भारत चीन के बीच सीमा पर जो कुछ भी हुआ है 15-16 तारीख की रात को, उस तमाम मुद्दों को लेकर प्रधानमंत्री ने ये बड़ी बैठक बुलाई है। तमाम राजनीतिक दलों के एक सर्वदलीय बैठक है जिसमें तमाम दलों के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष शिरकत करेंगे, और निश्चित तौर पर एक बड़ा मुद्दा है और देश को एक तरह से भरोसे में लेते हुए प्रधानमंत्री इस मुद्दे पर कोई भी जो कुछ भी उनके मन में है वो देश को भरोसे में लेते हुए आगे बढ़ेंगे। और इस तरह से हमने देखा कि पहले भी इस तरह की अगर कभी स्थितियां बनी है, किसी तरह का कोई गंभीर मुद्दा बना, सीमा पर तनाव जरूर है, लेकिन इस तरह के मुद्दों पर प्रधानमंत्री की ये कोशिश हमेशा रहती है कि एक तरह से सभी पक्षों से, एक तरह से तमाम राजनीतिक दलों से विचार विमर्श के बाद और एक कंसेंसस देश का जो मन है वो जानने के बाद इस मसले पर आगे बढ़े। और निश्चित तौर पर सरकार के सूत्र हमें ये बता रहे हैं कि देश की एकता, अखंडता और संप्रभुता के लिए जो कुछ भी जरूरी है पिछले दिनों भी और अब भी लगातार हर वक्त वो कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं। और उन कदमों के अलावा अगर बात की जाए तो ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बैठक जो प्रधानमंत्री ने बुलाई है तमाम राजनीतिक दलों के नेताओं से बातचीत करने के लिए, और खास तौर से अभी जो मौजूदा सिचुएशन है, हमको पता है कि
okay, in fact Sudhakar requested to please continue being with us. In fact, let's play out that tweet that's coming from the Prime Minister's office there. In fact, as far as that meeting, the all-party meeting slated to be held at 5 in the evening on the 19th is concerned, if you can have that tweet once again on our screens for the benefit of our viewers. The Prime Minister's office in fact tweeting, telling us about that meeting that's slated to happen at 5 in the evening on the 19th. We'll just get the tweet in just a bit. There you have it. In order to discuss the situation in the India-China border areas, Prime Minister Modi has called for an all-party meeting at 5 in the evening on the 19th. The presidents of various political parties would take part in this virtual meeting. Sudhakar, let me come back to you. Sometime back, Defence Minister of the country, Rajnath Singh, had also put out a tweet clearly demonstrating that the entire country is backing the soldiers here who are, who are in fact for the relentless spirit really at the LAC and demonstrating their bravery and courage in the line of duty, and saluting these brave hearts is what the Defence Minister has had to say. So clearly, and also earlier on the government sources saying that India does want a peaceful solution to the entire matter, but at the same time India will not take a step back at the LAC. So very clear categorical messages coming in from India and the government sources.
जी देखिए, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है और गृह रक्षा मंत्री राजनाथ सिंह ने जो कुछ भी कहा एक तरह से वो देश की भावना है और सरकार की भावना है, और सीधे तौर पर उन्होंने कहा है कि जो हमारे बहादुर जवान हैं, हमारी बहादुर सेना है, उनके साथ पूरा देश खड़ा है, और जो लोग शहीद हुए हैं उनके परिवारों के साथ पूरा देश खड़ा है। तो निश्चित तौर पर एक समय ऐसा समय है बहादुर जवानों के परिवारों के साथ खड़ा होने का। लेकिन जहां तक निश्चित तौर पर भारत के प्रतिक्रिया की बात है, ये लगातार जो सरकार का पक्ष की तरफ से, सरकारी सूत्रों की तरफ से बताया जा रहा है कि देश की जो एकता, अखंडता, संप्रभुता के लिए जो भी जरूरी कदम है वो तमाम कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं। और LAC पर भारत अपनी जो स्थिति है उसको किसी भी तरह से, अपनी किसी भी जमीन को छोड़ने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। जो टेरिटोरियल इंटीग्रिटी है उसकी सुरक्षा के लिए भारत हर जरूरी कदम उठाएगा। हमने देखा कि कल जब घटना हुई थी तो रक्षा मंत्री ने खुद प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को जानकारी दी थी। उन्होंने जो ब्रीफिंग जो तीनों सेनाओं के अध्यक्ष हैं, जो हमारे सीडीएस हैं, उनके साथ ब्रीफिंग ली थी। विदेश मंत्री के साथ उनका संवाद हुआ था। आज सवेरे भी तीनों सेना अध्यक्षों से उनकी बात हुई है। उनसे उन्होंने पूरी मौजूदा हालात के बारे में जानकारी ली है और लगातार एक तरह से कह सकते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री को इस पूरी स्थिति को लेकर ब्रीफ किया गया, उन्हें पूरी जानकारी दी गई है और जो भी जरूरी कार्रवाइयां की जा रही है। लेकिन उस बीच प्रधानमंत्री का एक बड़ा ऐलान है कि वो तमाम राजनीतिक दलों के नेताओं के साथ, जो राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं पार्टियों के, उनके साथ बातचीत करेंगे इस पूरे मसले पर। और एक तरह से ये कोशिश है सरकार की इस मसले को लेकर तमाम राजनीतिक दलों के बीच से, पूरे देश के बीच से एक स्पष्ट राय बने, एक कंसेंसस बने। और निश्चित तौर पर इस वक्त अपनी बहादुर सेना और देश का जो नेतृत्व है उसके साथ हर देशवासी खड़ा है और प्रधानमंत्री भी चाहते हैं कि वो एक जो देश का मूड है वो तमाम लोगों के साथ उनको जानकारी उसके बारे में है। लेकिन साथ ही साथ राजनीतिक दलों का की क्या मंशा है, वो क्या सोच रखते हैं इस पूरे मसले को लेकर, वो जानने की कोशिश करें। इस लिहाज से ये बड़ी बैठक इस बड़े मुद्दे पर बुलाई गई।
Absolutely, very important meeting that has been called at 5 in the evening on the 19th by Prime Minister Modi, that all-party meeting where the presidents of the various parties would be attending that meeting virtually. And important announcements that had come in earlier by the government sources, clearly saying that of course India wants a peaceful solution to the entire India-China issue that's taking place at the LAC, but also making clear at the same time that India will not take a step back. In fact, showing Sudhakar India's firm resolve to solving this issue amicably, but at the same time maintaining a very firm stand as to what really India wants. And perhaps in that important meeting, a couple of days left before that meeting takes place, day after it is when it happens. So are we likely to see any firmer strategy that's going to be coming in from the Indian side towards the issue?
देखिए, जहां तक इस मसले के ऊपर रणनीति का सवाल है, जो सामरिक रणनीति है, जो रक्षा के क्षेत्र में जो रणनीति होनी चाहिए, जो डिप्लोमेटिक रणनीति होनी चाहिए, देखिए जब आप और हम बात कर रहे हैं, हर वक्त उस पर काम चल रहा है और देश के लिए, देश हित में जो जरूरी कदम है वो उठाए जा रहे हैं, वो सरकार की तरफ से एश्योर किया गया है और वो लगातार उठाए भी जा रहे हैं। और हमने देखा कि क्योंकि देखिए हमारा एक जो है लोकतांत्रिक देश है और एक तरह की ट्रांसपेरेंसी हमारे यहाँ प्रक्रियाओं में होती है। अगर हमारे जवान शहीद होते हैं तो उसके बारे में पूरे देश को जानकारी दी जाती है और उस तरह एक इस्टेब्लिश नॉर्म्स है, प्रक्रियाएं हैं। अनलाइक चीन, अगर हम उसकी बात करें तो वहां अगर कैजुअलिटी भी हुई है, हालांकि उसके बारे में तमाम सूत्रों की तरफ से, इंटरनेशनल एजेंसीज के तरफ से भी तमाम जानकारी आ रही है कि बड़ी संख्या में उनके जवानों की भी कैजुअलिटी हुई है। हमारे बहादुर सैनिकों ने अपनी जो इंटीग्रिटी है उसकी रक्षा के लिए जो एक बड़ा मुकाबला किया। तो एक तरह से कह सकते हैं कि जो जरूरी कदम है वो हर वक्त उठाया जा रहा है। लेकिन निश्चित तौर पर प्रधानमंत्री की कोशिश होगी कि तमाम राजनीतिक दलों को इस पूरे मसले को लेकर ना सिर्फ वो ब्रीफ करेंगे कि जो लगातार पिछले कुछ दिनों में जो घटनाएं हुई हैं, 15-16 तारीख की रात को जो घटना हुई है और उसके बाद से जो लगातार कदम सरकार की तरफ से देश की सुरक्षा के लिए, भारतीय जमीन की सुरक्षा के लिए वो उठाए गए हैं, उन कदमों के बारे में ना सिर्फ प्रधानमंत्री जानकारी देंगे बल्कि साथ ही साथ जो आगे आने वाली रणनीति उनकी है, जो सोच है, जिस पर वो लगातार काम कर रहे हैं, जिस पर सरकार लगातार काम कर रही है, जिस पर हमारे सुरक्षा बल, हमारी आर्मी, चाहे हमारा पूरा तंत्र जो काम कर रहा है, उसके लिए वो एक भरोसे में लेने की कोशिश करेंगे। निश्चित तौर पर तमाम जो एक तरह से कह सकते हैं प्रबुद्ध राजनीतिक दल है, वो सरकार को इस पूरे मसले पर समर्थन भी कर रहे हैं कि ताकि ये एक देश से एक जैसी आवाज निकले और एक सुर में देश इस वक्त जो कह सकते हैं एक तरह से बस चुनौती का सामना कर रहा है, इस चुनौती में आगे बढ़ा है, जिसमें हमारी सेना ने देश का एक तरह से मान बढ़ाया है, वो सीधे तौर पर कह सकते हैं। लेकिन निश्चित तौर पर तमाम स्थितियों को देखते हुए एक बार जब राजनीतिक दलों के साथ, उनके राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्षों के साथ चर्चा होगी तो पीएम न सिर्फ जानकारी देंगे लेकिन बल्कि उनको साथ में भरोसे में लेते हुए आगे किस तरह से इस मसले में किस रास्ते पर चलना है, उसके लिए वो बात करें।
All right, Sudhakar, thanks very much for joining us for the moment. So that important meeting that's going to be taking place on the 19th of this month at 5 in the evening. Prime Minister Modi has called an all-party meeting where, of course, he would not only be apprising the political parties of the steps taken by the government of India, but also, in fact, taking everyone on board as far as crafting future strategy at tackling the situation at the LAC between India and China is concerned. We'll keep a track of developments on that front, but moving on now, in fact, similar updates on that. The government sources have also said that India wants a peaceful resolution of the issue after the Galwan standoff, but at the same time also made it clear that India will not step back from its border at the line of actual control. A total of 20 Indian soldiers were martyred in the intervening night of 15th or 16th June at the Galwan Valley. Further, the Indian Army sources have also said that People's Liberation Army of China has suffered over 45 casualties in the Galwan standoff. Sources also said that major general level talks between the two countries are still on to diffuse the situation. It has also been made clear that no Indian soldier is missing or unaccounted for. It also said that there was no firing at all on Monday night at the site of the standoff. And Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has expressed grief on the loss of lives of the Indian soldiers in the Galwan Valley during the standoff between Indian and Chinese troops. In a tweet, he said, I quote, "The loss of soldiers in Galwan is deeply disturbing and painful. Our soldiers displayed exemplary courage and valor in the line of duty and sacrificed their lives in the highest traditions of the Indian Army. The nation will never forget their bravery and sacrifice. My heart goes out to the families of the fallen soldiers. The nation stands shoulder to shoulder with them in this difficult hour. We are proud of the bravery and the courage of India's brave hearts." Unquote. And let's now go across to our correspondent Amritpal Singh, who is joining us with more inputs on that. Amrit, of course, we have heard, we have read that statement that's been put out by the Raksha Mantri, where he's making it clear that the entire nation stands behind these soldiers who have fallen in the line of duty, but also at the same time making it clear that India will not step back. It will take a befitting step as and when required to tackle the situation at the LAC.
Yes, it means that India will not step back, means that India will not allow any intrusion into Indian territory. This is in line with what the MEA statement that came yesterday and the Army statement, that our soldiers and our Army is bound to protect our borders, and India will not brook any incursion by any foreign power into the Indian territory. Nancy?
Okay. All right, Amrit, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and putting that into perspective for us. And for nearly the last 5 weeks, a standoff has lingered on between Indian and Chinese armies in the Galwan Valley and other areas of eastern Ladakh. Talks have been held at various levels going up to the corps commander to resolve the situation. But what happened on Monday night has in fact set back the de-escalation process. The MEA has also clarified that it was the Chinese side that departed from the consensus to respect the line of actual control in the Galwan Valley, leading to clashes on the 15th or 16th night. The MEA has said that India and China have been discussing through military and diplomatic channels the de-escalation of the situation in the border area in eastern Ladakh. Senior commanders had a productive meeting on the 6th of June and agreed on a process for such a de-escalation. Subsequently, ground commanders had a series of meetings to implement the consensus reached at a higher level. While it was our expectation that this would unfold smoothly, the Chinese side departed from the consensus to respect the line of actual control in the Galwan Valley. On the late evening and night of 15 June, a violent face-off happened as a result of an attempt by the Chinese side to unilaterally change the status quo there. Both the sides suffered casualties and could have been avoided had the agreement at the higher level been scrupulously followed by the Chinese side. Given its responsible approach to border management, India is very clear that all its activities are always within the Indian side of the LAC. We expect the same of the Chinese side as well. We remain firmly convinced of the need for the maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and the resolution of differences through dialogue. At the same time, we are also strongly committed to ensuring India's sovereignty and territorial integrity." Unquote. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed concern over the reports of violence and deaths at the line of actual control between India and China and urged both the sides to exercise maximum restraint. The associate spokesperson for the UN Secretary General made the comments at the daily press briefing. She was responding to a question on the martyrdom of the Indian Army personnel in a violent face-off in Ladakh's Galwan Valley amid escalating tensions at the LAC. In her response, she said, I quote, "Yes, we are concerned about reports of violence and deaths at the line of actual control between India and China, and we urge both the sides to exercise maximum restraint. We take positive note of reports that the two countries have engaged to de-escalate the situation." Unquote. And the United States is also closely monitoring the situation following a fierce clash between Indian and Chinese forces in eastern Ladakh and hopes that the differences will be resolved peacefully. Washington has also offered condolences to the families of the 20 soldiers that have been martyred. A State Department spokesperson said that both India and China have expressed their desires to de-escalate, and the US supports a peaceful resolution of the current situation. It was added that during their phone call on the 2nd of June, President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi had discussed the situation along the India-China border. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will continue his interaction with the chief ministers of the states and the union territories, and this is Prime Minister's 6th interaction with the chief ministers in the COVID era. On the first day of the virtual meeting, Prime Minister Modi said the pandemic remained under control in the country due to right decisions at the right time. He added the recovery rate has gone beyond 50%. He said the country gave superlative example of cooperative federalism. Prime Minister Modi reiterated the life and livelihood mantra. The Prime Minister said that there is a need to increase testing and tracing along with picking up the economic activity and the health services. Prime Minister Modi also laid stress on wearing masks and social distancing. He said even a little carelessness will weaken the country's war against COVID. And Prime Minister Modi noted that with the efforts of the past few weeks, green shoots in the economy are now visible. He said there has been rise in the power consumption, which was earlier falling. Also, the fertilizer sale in May this year has seen a significant increase. And apart from that, there is also a healthy increase in the Kharif sowing in comparison to last year. The production of two-wheelers is also increasing. The digital payments in retail are reaching pre-lockdown level. Increase also in toll collection in May has been witnessed, and there's an inevitable bouncing back of the exports. And on the second day of the two-day virtual meeting, Prime Minister Modi interacting with another 15 states and union territories, and this includes Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Telangana and Odisha. And let's now take a look at the COVID-19 updates as given by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. A total of 1,86,934 patients so far have been cured of COVID-19. The recovery rate, which is indicative of the fact that more than half of the positive cases have recovered from the disease. Currently, 1,55,227 active cases are under medical supervision. And the testing capacity for detecting COVID-19 in infected persons in the country is continuously being ramped up. The country now has the capacity to test 3 lakh samples per day. The total number of samples tested so far is 59,21,069, with 1,54,935 samples tested in the last 24 hours. A network of 907 labs has been created in the country as on date, and this includes 659 laboratories in the government sector and 248 in the private sector. Moving on now, Arogya Setu application has touched another height. It has crossed 13 crore downloads. Along with this, the application has also stepped into the list of the world's most downloaded application in the shorter period of time. The app, developed under public-private partnership, has emerged a protective shield for people in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The Arogya Setu app, launched by the central government, uses artificial intelligence and Bluetooth to enable people access the risk of getting infected. Now it has even extended its ambit to cover feature and the landline phones under the umbrella. Moving on now, the centre has told the Supreme Court that it will issue an order to states and the union territories within 24 hours to ensure timely salaries to doctors and the healthcare workers. The government has also said that it will modify the 15th May order of mandatory quarantine for all the healthcare workers and issue a new order for suitable alternative accommodation to doctors and the healthcare workers. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta submitted to the Apex Court on making non-payment of salary to doctors and healthcare workers a criminal offence under the NDMA Act. He added that the centre will issue a direction under Section 10 of the NDMA. The Apex Court has sought report from the centre in 4 weeks. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has addressed the states and the union territories to engage with the private healthcare providers to facilitate enhanced bed availability and critical care health facilities, as well as to ensure fair and transparent charges for the services provided. In order to ensure that patients receive prompt, good quality and care at reasonable rates, it has been suggested to states to have consultations with the local private healthcare providers and arrive at reasonable rates while factoring in the cost elements for personal safety equipment for the healthcare providers. It has also been suggested that the rates, once fixed, must be widely publicized so that both the patients and the service providers are fully aware and capacities are used optimally. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has issued a detailed illustrated guide to address the issue of stigma faced by people affected by COVID-19, including the patients recovered from COVID-19, the frontline healthcare providers and their families. Importantly, ways to reduce stigma have been illustrated, which includes various do's and don'ts. The do's are be appreciative and supportive of the efforts made by frontline workers, verify information from a reliable source such as the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare before sharing or even forwarding it, and last but not the least, sharing positive stories of those who have recovered from COVID-19. Also remember, do not spread misinformation, do not label any individual, group or area for spread of the COVID, and do not spread name, identity, locality of persons infected or even under quarantine. A special flight from Muscat will bring back Indians to Bengaluru. The passengers include Noor Muhammad, who met with an unfortunate accident and had suffered multiple fractures. He had also gone through knee replacement surgery and today is happy to be flying back to be with his family and also to get further treatment. All the passengers, including Noor Muhammad, has thanked the Indian Embassy for their support and the Government of India for facilitating their safe return. And remember, the government has been extensively undertaking the mission Vande Bharat to bring back the home.
एक 1.5 महीना पहले मेरा एक बहुत बड़ा कार एक्सीडेंट डायना एक्सीडेंट हो गया था, जो ट्रेलर आके हमारे डायना को मार दिया। तो मेरा नी रिप्लेसमेंट और 3 फ्रैक्चर हाथ में, पैर में और हाथ में 1 फ्रैक्चर हो गया था। मोर देन 35 स्टिचेस इन द हैंड। बहुत मुश्किल हो गया था। थैंक्स टू द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट जो मेरे को फर्दर ट्रीटमेंट के लिए जो इतने मुश्किल घड़ी में भी मेरा हेल्प किया और मेरे को इंडिया जाने के लिए मेरे मदद किया। इंडियन एम्बेसीज में जितने भी लोग थे उन सब के लिए मेरा बहुत बड़ा शुक्रिया, जो मेरे को आज टिकट और पासपोर्ट दिला दिया।
हम लोग मतलब बहुत मुश्किल में थे। थैंक फॉर इंडियन एम्बेसी, वो बहुत हम लोगों को हेल्प करे। तो कल ही हम लोग सलाला से निकले, अभी सुबह कल 4 बजे निकले, तो सुबह में है ना हम लोग 6:30 आकर पहुंच गए। Thank you so much for Indian Embassy और thank you so much for government of Indian Embassy.
Remember, the government has been extensively undertaking Mission Vande Bharat to bring home the Indian nationals stranded in various parts of the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Indian High Commission in New Zealand has said that the second flight of Air India took off from Auckland Airport this morning, carrying 217 stranded Indians from New Zealand. And a look now at the global figures of COVID-19. Worldwide, nearly 87.73 lakh people have tested positive for COVID-19, while over 4.43 lakh people have also lost their lives. The US continues to remain the worst affected with respect to the number of confirmed cases and even deaths, followed by Brazil and Russia. Over 21.37 lakh people have tested positive across the US, while over 1.16 lakh have lost their lives till now. Brazil is fast emerging as the new epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak, having recorded over 9.23 lakh confirmed cases so far, while Russia has reported over 5.44 lakh confirmed cases. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. But news and updates will continue here on Doordarshan News and DD India. For the moment, thanks for being with us.